Dual agency national practice questions. Question 1. At a pre-listing meeting, a Michigan exam candidate encounters the following description: an agent authorized to perform a specific task or transaction. Which concept is being tested? Option A, special agent. Option B, fiduciary duty. Option C, agency by ratification. Option D, obedience duty. The correct answer is option A, special agent. A listing broker generally receives limited authority to market and negotiate rather than to transfer title for the owner. The agent cannot exceed the powers granted in the agreement. The relationship ends when the assigned purpose is completed or otherwise terminated. Question 2. Nora is assisting with an office building transaction in Holland. Which principle applies when the facts involve a licensee engaged to represent the owner in marketing and negotiating a property? Option A, a procuring cause. Option B, a seller's agent. Option C, express agency. Option D, dual agent. The correct answer is option B, seller's agent. Known material facts still must be disclosed as required to buyers. The representative seeks lawful terms favorable to the owner and must protect the owner's confidential information. The agency relationship should be established and disclosed in writing. Question 3. Which answer most accurately identifies a relationship created when a principal later approves an act performed without prior authority in a real estate transaction? Option A, buyer's agent. Option B, commingling. Option C, agency by ratification. Option D, client. The correct answer is option C, agency by ratification. The approval treats the authorized result as though authority existed at the time of the act. Ratification cannot validate an illegal act. The principal must know the material facts and accept the benefit or conduct.
Stressed about your CNA? We can take CNA for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done.
Question 4. A question arising during inspection period concerns the obligation to communicate material information relevant to the principal's decisions. Which choice gives the best classification? Option A, special agent. Option B, seller's agent. Option C, dual agent. Option D, disclosure duty. The correct answer is option D, disclosure duty. The duty supports informed decision making by the client. The agent should promptly share offers, facts, and risks that could affect the transaction. Personal interests and conflicts must also be disclosed. Question 5. While analyzing a historic residence, Gavin must apply the concept involving information that could influence a reasonable person's decision about a transaction. Which answer should be selected? Option A, material fact. Option B, general agent. Option C, conversion. Option D, implied agency. The correct answer is option A, material fact. The importance of the fact depends on its effect on value, desirability, safety, or bargaining. Confidential motivation is treated differently from a material property condition. Known significant defects in transaction conditions must be disclosed when law requires. Question 6. Which real estate term is defined by a representation relationship created by written or oral agreement in the buyer consultation described? Option A, subagent. Option B, express agency. Option C, commingling. Option D, dual agent. The correct answer is option B, express agency. The scope of authority is determined by the agreement and applicable law. Real estate licensing law often requires the brokerage agreement to be written. The parties intentionally state that the agent will act for the principal. Question 7. In a transaction involving a subdivision lot, which rule controls when there is one agent or brokerage representative acting for both sides in the same transaction with required informed consent? Option A, commingling. Option B, ministerial act. Option C, dual agent. Option D, loyalty duty. The correct answer is option C, dual agent. The arrangement creates inherent conflicts because the parties' bargaining interests may differ. The agent must remain neutral on confidential matters and comply with state-specific authorization rules. Without valid consent, representing both sides can violate agency law. Question 8. A closing agent asks about an agent authorized to handle a series of transactions within an ongoing business area. Which answer provides the legally accurate concept? Option A, agency by ratification. Option B, conversion. Option C, seller's agent. Option D, general agent. The correct answer is option D, general agent. The agent may bind the principal only within the granted scope. A property manager often receives broad operational authority for the managed property. This role is broader than authority limited to one specific sale.
Are you looking for CNA actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access CNA study guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get CNA answer key today.
Question 9. Malik encounters an agent authorized through another agent who owes duties to the principal represented by the appointing brokerage during a financing review. Which principal should guide the analysis? Option A, subagent. Option B, buyer's agent. Option C, client. Option D, designated agency. The correct answer is option A, subagent. The cooperating licensee does not automatically become the buyer's representative merely by working with the buyer. The cooperating representative owes fiduciary duties to the principal even without a direct agreement with that principal. Agency status depends on the established relationship and required disclosures. Question 10. Which choice best matches the description? The obligation to put the principal's lawful interests ahead of the agent's competing interests. Option A, implied agency. Option B, loyalty duty. Option C, conversion. Option D, dual agent. The correct answer is option B, loyalty duty. Full informed consent is required when a permitted conflict exists. Secret profits, undisclosed conflicts, and self-dealing violate this responsibility. The agent may not favor another party because of a better commission opportunity. Question 11. During review of a cooperative unit in Grand Rapids, the parties discussed the obligation to safeguard and accurately report money or property belonging to the principal. Which term applies? Option A, client. Option B, reasonable care. Option C, accounting duty. Option D, conversion. The correct answer is option C, accounting duty. Unauthorized use or commingling violates the trust placed in the agent. Detailed records allow the principal and regulators to verify handling. Funds must be separated, documented, and delivered according to law and agreement. Question 12. An exam scenario presents an agent authorized to act broadly in nearly all matters for the principal. Which answer is most accurate in the lease negotiation described? Option A, dual agent. Option B, subagent. Option C, obedience duty. Option D, universal agent. The correct answer is option D, universal agent. Most real estate licensees serve under narrower special authority. A comprehensive power of attorney may create such authority. This level of authority is uncommon in ordinary brokerage representation. Question 13. A licensee preparing for a pre-listing meeting must recognize the obligation to use the skill and diligence expected of a competent real estate professional. Which concept does this describe? Option A, reasonable care. Option B, accounting duty. Option C, universal agent. Option D, client. The correct answer is option A, reasonable care. The licensee should verify information, meet deadlines, and recommend appropriate expert assistance. The duty does not make the licensee a lawyer, engineer, or tax advisor. Negligent performance can create liability even without intentional misconduct. Question 14. Which answer correctly classifies a situation involving a transaction participant who receives services but is not represented as a client? Option A, designated agency. Option B, customer. Option C, conversion. Option D, client. The correct answer is option B, customer. The person should not assume confidential advice or negotiation advocacy is being provided. The licensee must act honestly and disclose material facts but does not owe undivided loyalty. Agency disclosures help distinguish this role from represented status. Question 15. At a due diligence meeting in Towson, Wendy explains a routine service that does not involve discretion, confidential advice, or advocacy. Which real estate principle is involved? Option A, reasonable care. Option B, dual agent. Option C, ministerial act. Option D, buyer's agent. The correct answer is option C, ministerial act. Providing factual information or assisting with forms may fall within this category when no judgment is exercised. The licensee must avoid crossing into representation without the required agreement and disclosure. Performing such tasks does not necessarily create an agency relationship. Question 16. A transaction file for a single-family home raises an issue involving mixing client or trust funds with a broker's personal or operating money. Which answer best resolves the classification? Option A, reasonable care. Option B, dual agent. Option C, express agency. Option D, commingling. The correct answer is option D, commingling. Conversion is more serious because it involves unauthorized use of the money. Separate accounts protect the owners of the funds and permit accurate accounting. Even without theft, mixing funds can violate licensing rules. Question 17. Which concept should a tenant apply to facts involving a high duty of loyalty, care, disclosure, obedience, accounting, and confidentiality owed by an agent to a client? Option A, fiduciary duty. Option B, loyalty duty. Option C, customer. Option D, commingling. The correct answer is option A, fiduciary duty. Material information must be communicated while confidential negotiating information remains protected. The duty does not permit illegal instructions or dishonesty toward other parties. The agent must place the client's lawful interests above personal gain within the scope of the relationship. Question 18. Owen is studying a rule concerning a brokerage arrangement assigning different affiliated licensees to represent opposing clients while the broker manages conflicts under state law. Which term should be chosen? Option A, buyer's agent. Option B, designated agency. Option C, obedience duty. Option D, reasonable care. The correct answer is option B, designated agency. The structure is intended to provide representation within the same brokerage without one salesperson advising both sides. The supervising broker's role and consent requirements depend on the jurisdiction. Each assigned representative advocates for one client and protects that client's confidential information.
Stressed about your CNA? We can take CNA for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done.
Question 19. When a retail suite transaction involves a licensee engaged to represent a purchaser or prospective purchaser, which answer identifies the controlling concept? Option A, confidentiality duty. Option B, conversion. Option C, buyer's agent. Option D, dual agent. The correct answer is option C, buyer's agent. The representative assists with evaluation, offer preparation, negotiation, and protection of the buyer's interests. Confidential information about the buyer's motivation or maximum price must be protected. The relationship and compensation terms should be stated in the brokerage agreement. Question 20. A practice question describes the obligation to protect private information learned through representation. Which response is best in the contract revision described? Option A, reasonable care. Option B, commingling. Option C, express agency. Option D, confidentiality duty. The correct answer is option D, confidentiality duty. The duty can continue after the agency relationship ends. Negotiating limits, motivation, and personal circumstances generally remain protected unless disclosure is authorized or legally required. It does not permit concealment of material property defects that law requires to be disclosed. Question 21. During a financing review, which principle is illustrated by the broker activity that begins an uninterrupted chain of events leading to a completed transaction? Option A, a procuring cause. Option B, special agent. Option C, subagent. Option D, designated agency. The correct answer is option A, procuring cause. Compensation disputes may turn on who caused the buyer and seller to reach agreement. The listing and cooperation agreements govern the compensation analysis. Merely introducing a person to a property is not always sufficient if the chain was abandoned or broken. Question 22. Which answer states the concept associated with a relationship inferred from conduct rather than clearly stated agreement? Option A, dual agent. Option B, implied agency. Option C, disclosure duty. Option D, reasonable care. The correct answer is option B, implied agency. Clear disclosure and documentation reduce accidental agency claims. Repeated advice and advocacy can create expectations of representation even when no writing exists. Licensees should avoid conduct that conflicts with required written brokerage agreements. Question 23. A salesperson handling a small apartment building in Salisbury must identify a person who has entered into an agency or brokerage agreement for representation. Which choice is correct? Option A, loyalty duty. Option B, obedience duty. Option C, client. Option D, subagent. The correct answer is option C, client. Compensation alone does not necessarily determine who is represented. The relationship should be disclosed so other parties understand the licensee's role. The representative owes fiduciary obligations defined by law and the agreement. Question 24. During a lease negotiation for a rental home in Easton, Zane needs to identify the rule described as unauthorized use or control of money belonging to another person. Which answer applies? Option A, reasonable care. Option B, commingling. Option C, fiduciary duty. Option D, conversion. The correct answer is option D, conversion. Strict trust minus account controls are designed to prevent this harm. Prompt restitution does not erase the original violation. The misconduct goes beyond improper mixing and involves treating entrusted funds as one's own. Question 25. A buyer is reviewing a condominium unit in Lansing. Which term describes the obligation to follow the principal's lawful instructions within the agency scope? Option A, obedience duty. Option B, client. Option C, loyalty duty. Option D, reasonable care. The correct answer is option A, obedience duty. An agent must carry out authorized directions even when another approach seems more profitable. Illegal or unethical instructions must not be followed. The brokerage agreement defines the limits of authority.